So what we'll see in this chapter, we'll see simple storage service which is provided by Amazon Web Services, and we'll go through the introduction about the S3. Then later on we'll see what are the object storage devices in the traditional systems like block storage, file storage, such kind of things. Then later on about S3 basics we'll learn. Then later on the buckets and concepts and advanced features of the S3, and later on the cold storage uh, facility or service which is called Glacier. We'll know that. First of all, what is S3? S3 stands for Simple Storage Service. So Amazon S3 provides developers and IT teams with secure, durable, highly scalable cloud storage. What is the storage? Basically, in traditional manner, if you see, it is a kind of file storage. So S3 is easy to use object storage with a simple web service interface that you can use to store and retrieve any amount of data from anywhere on the web. So basically we are using the web browser. Using the web browser, we are going to store the objects. So what way we are going to do these things? So how S3 allows it, we'll see. S3 allows you to pay only for storage you actually use, which eliminates the capacity planning, capacity constraints associated with traditional storage. In traditional storage, we used to have a lot of networks, lot of servers, storage units, storage devices, all that establishment we used to have for storage of the files. Even network drives also used to have separately for different project teams in the IT organization. So those all are not required yet. So S3 is one of the first services introduced by AWS, and it serves as one of the foundational services, nearly an application running in AWS users Amazon S3, either directly or indirectly. Basically, Amazon basic business was related to transportation. I mean, it's a kind of courier kind of things. They started in the beginning, then later on they converted into storage area. That time they invented the S3 area, maybe around 2003 or 4 something. Then they converted this storage area into web services. Web services means through browser access. So whereas in the traditional systems, we used to access through FTP or network drives or something like that, or VPN connection through that. We used to do that. But here they have provided with web-based interface when they introduced this S3 service with web services inclusion. So what are the ways to use S3 within AWS services? We'll see. So S3 can be used alone or in conjunction with other AWS services, or it offers a very high level of integration with many other AWS services. Basically, we have many services in AWS. If you take EC2, yes, EC2 needs some kind of files to be copied into the local machine, virtual machine, either your Linux or Windows. So what we are supposed to do? We are supposed to use one web service of S3. Then from there we can copy into the local machine. Then another thing is, if you want to send the local machine files to S3, yes, it is possible to upload it also. In fact, Rajesh has done all these exercises, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So example, if you take it, S3 serves as durable target storage for Amazon Kinesis and Elastic MapReduce. These are related with the data warehouse and big data kind of technologies. EMR is Elastic MapReduce is part of the big data, and it is used as the storage for Amazon Elastic Block Storage and Amazon Relational Database Service snapshots. Basically, RDS is related with relational data services, where DBS will use that for configuring the databases like MySQL, MSSQL, Oracle, MongoDB, DynamoDB, Cassandra, so many are there. And those snapshots also can be stored in S3. Snapshots are nothing but backup of the database. And it is used as storage, data staging or loading storage mechanism for Amazon Redshift and DynamoDB, among many other functions. So basically what happens, any data if you want to store, instead of storing in the Elastic Block service storage, you can use it in S3 itself. So snapshots, backups, maybe a copy of the instances, such kind of things. So because S3 is so flexible, so highly integrated and so commonly used, it is important to understand this service in detail. So now let us see this flow in high level, how it works S3. There are users in the front end using the browser. They have been given the permissions. What permissions? Using the identity access management, S3 access, they have full access. Let us imagine it, okay? Well, I don't get confusion. I'll explain you about the IAM role separately because you have not attended that session,
Okay,
right?
sir.
Yeah. So let us say I have IAM role using with full access. Then that role person is going to create bucket, access bucket. He can do multiple things. So when he creates the bucket, bucket is nothing but a folder kind of thing. In traditional system, we call that as a folder or directory. So in the bucket, he can store files. Files are called here in S3 terminology
Object.
objects. So that way it is stored it. So basically what happens, user can come and access it and he can upload the files from the local system to that. So that is the simple mechanism. But there are so many other ways, other features also S3 has got, we are going to see in future, coming slides. Now if you take a typical data warehouse or big data concepts, you have Amazon Kinesis. Kinesis is related with data warehouse technology, ETL technology. Then there is a data coming from downstream systems with ETL process. Then Kinesis is going to manage that, and it is sending to Amazon EMR. EMR stands for Elastic Map Reduce, which is related with big data process. So then there is a Redshift, which is related with analytics kind of database, making it, designing it. And there is S3 also, where folders and snapshots are stored it. But there is another guy, he is working as a data scientist. He is pulling through EMR access, Elastic Map Reduce. Elastic Map Reduce is storing a lot of data contents here. Those contents you will pick up and you will analyze with R programming or something like that with statistical analysis as a data scientist. So there again, from Amazon Redshift, there can be business information, business analytics software will be there, BI analytics. So Redshift will have the data into cubes or dashboards. So that way they can use it. This is one kind of big picture in S3 usage. So every time when they process the data, data can be stored under snapshots. Then again, another database can use it under big data. Then that data can be analyzed by data scientists. At the same time, the same data can be used by analytics people. So this is another scenario technology-wise, if you see. But it varies from one technology to another technology, all these scenarios. Each project will have different requirements. Those requirements we need to understand. We need to understand the architecture. In the architecture, where we are going to plot this S3 services. So from there, where we are supposed to pull what kind of data, whether it's snapshot or files or folders, such kind of things need to be identified. It as a requirement for creating the S3 system. Now, this is high level, I have discussed it. What is S3? Now let us see in traditional system, how the files we used to store it in different ways. So if you see traditional systems, there used to be block storage, there used to be file storage, there used to be object storage. What is block storage? Data stored and managed as blocks within sectors and tracks. That is called as block storage. For what is file storage? Data stored as files, manages files organized into hierarchical file system. Hierarchical file system means I have different folders. Folder structure is there, like tree structure. I can manage into different folders, subfolders, my files. That is called as hierarchical file system. Then there is a object storage concept also. Data stored as objects in massively scalable containers with a globally unique identifier instead of a file name and a path. Like you might have heard containers. What it does, container. In reality, if you take a storage containers, not in technology, storage containers for the shopping malls, if you take, what they do, they take a box, big box. That box is going to have particular items. They store them and they put them into the godowns. When they need it, they pull that container. From there, they'll distribute to locations, retail stores or wholesale stores or something. The same way, objects are stored in the form of containers. The containers are prepared through the Linux LXC containers concepts, where LXC containers are redesigned or modified with different technology concepts, and that is converted into Docker software also. Through Docker also, containers can be prepared. Through LXC containers also, we can use the containers. But Docker containers are very powerful. They became very popular since last 4 years. Yeah, there is noise. You can put under mute.
Yes, sir. One thing, like we also have object storage example in S3 itself, right?
Yes, yes.
So, like versioning is there, right? So, suppose I'm just sharing, you just analyze it. Like, if we don't enable versioning, that time when we upload object in S3, so that object is stored as a file name value, right? Key value pair,
Hold
file
on, hold
names
on,
and
hold on, hold on.
yeah.
Your question scope is not for this slide. There is a
Okay.
versioning, there is a object discussion, there is a bucket discussion in these
No,
slides.
no, no. I am just trying to understand what is the
Uh,
difference between object storage and file storage. So
that's
I'm
where
just
that's where I
trying to relate
told you.
it.
I told you containers it stores as a container. Object
Yeah.
storage. Container is what? You might have heard LXC containers because you are the Linux professional, right?
No, I have not
No,
heard
no,
of
no,
it.
no. Linux internals, if you see, there is a concept called LXC containers. Okay. I don't know whether you have seen my Facebook videos in microservices concepts. I will show one video. I have teach it to one person called Harsha long back. Okay, you have to watch that video, my teachings. Okay,
Right, sir, right.
okay. Now I'll show that particular video also in this area. In Linux concepts, we have LXC containers. The Docker is developed on top of the LXC containers, basically.
Okay, okay.
You guys should be
Let's
aware, Linux experts, right?
But then containerization, I have not
Because
worked on
without
it.
LXC containers, Amazon would have not been there, Docker would have not been there, okay?
Right.
See here, I'll show one video. See, this is the one, kernel features are there. In Docker kernel features, it is discussed. See, now if you see here, yes, before coming to Docker, I discussed about the C groups, LXC containers in Linux, all these things.
Okay.
Okay, so you have to watch this video to clarify that doubts. I will copy it here in the message. It has come to both of you, right? Message.
yep.
So, sir, just
Yeah.
one small point. Just listen.
Mm.
I just want to relate it. Like there is a file storage and there is object storage, right?
Mm.
So S3 is having feature of storage that is file based or object based storage.
Object
So
based only, you need to hold that doubt till
yeah, okay,
I approach the bucket operations. After bucket operations, object I am going to discuss. That time I am going to mention what is the mechanism involved in the S3 object.
okay, okay, sir. No problem.
Your question is a little bit advanced, but related to cold storage, the traditional storage, you can ask the questions.
Right, sir. No problem.
The scope should be in this slide.
Okay,
Okay,
okay, sir.
but I told you the differences, what they used in the traditional method, object storage, file storage, and block storage. Rajesh,
Yes, sir.
are you using these kind of methods?
Yeah, we are using NAS and SAN, sir, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, SAN is a network concept basically. It is coming in
Yeah.
the next slide. But object storage, have you used it so far in the traditional storage?
Object storage, yes, sir. For us, object storage is nothing but a NAS, right? The so-called.
So
Yeah, it goes
NAS,
to NAS
NAS,
only.
Yeah, NAS and SAN difference between is what? SAN is based on SAN is considered as a block storage,
Block storage and
but NAS uses either CIFS protocol or NFS protocol, right?
We are going
So
no,
to see
no.
them.
Yeah, correct, exactly. But the definition is the so-called is object storage when
yeah,
we call it as
right,
NAS.
right.
Yeah.
Because in
Okay.
block storage, data is written block by block, right?
Mm.
And in object storage, data is written file by file,
File by file. Yeah.
right? And
So where tape can be used, you tell me. No, you guys.
tapes, na?
Mm.
Tapes can be used in a block storage because
Yes.
it contains
Okay.
Yes, it has sectors, it has
sectors
tracks.
and tracks.
Tracks. Many of the IT organizations, they are using still tapes for the cold storage because of the cheaper rate.
Yes. Still we are using actually.
Yes, so when you want to store them in Glacier S3 cold storage, you need to download them into different location. From there, you need to pull into S3 and upload it.
Oh,
That is a very big process. But
that is
where you
storage gateway, right?
yeah, no. Through storage gateway only you are going to do. Before going to storage gateway, you need to pull the tape files into folders, local folders in the
Yes,
host
yes,
machine.
yes.
Okay.
Correct, sir.
Now let us go through these contents. We'll see further. Yes. So what is in traditional IT environments, how it is? There are two kinds of storage was dominating. One is block storage and file storage. Block storage, it operates at lower level, the raw storage device level, and manage data as a set of numbers, fixed size blocks. Let us say you take any kind of paper. Paper can be divided into different blocks. So each block can be divided into sections. Those sections are called as sectors here. That sectors will be allocated with particular bits or bytes. That is the storage concept, they used it. From mainframe concepts, it has come. So because I worked on mainframes also, that is the reason I know very well. So files, but it is very slow process if you want to store the files in tapes comparatively with file storage concept. File storage is what operates at a higher level, the operating system level, and manages data as a named hierarchy of files or folders. Like I discussed with you, hierarchical structure will be there like a tree structure. You need to create the folder structure, and in each folder you can store different files, and those all can be taken as a backup also easily as a root folder kind of backup. And later on you can install, you can restore that in particular location also. So block and file storage are often accessed via network in the form of storage area network, SAN network for block storage using protocols such as ISCSI or fiber channel, or as a network attached storage, NAS file servers. Most of the places they are using NAS servers, but they have converted into fiber channels also for faster things. If you take EMC square network appliances, maybe Amazon also has got that kind of storage services in the past. They are continuing it. They have fiber channels. Fiber channels will be faster to store the files. Am I right, Rajesh?
Yes, sir.
So now using protocols such as common internet file system or network file system, they follow that, these SAN areas. So whether directly attached or network attached, block or file, this kind of storage is very close associates with the server and operating system that is using the storage. Basically, these either NAS way or CIFS way, it is connected to the network to pull the files into storage area and back restoration also. Now, if you see these particular scenarios, 1 minute, let me increase the size. How it used to be there in the traditional system. Scenario example 1, if you see clients connected to a switch can access data over the local area network. So let us say you connected the laptop. Now you want to access your storage files. You don't know where it is stored, what it is, how the communication is established in the network. So there will be switch. From the switch there will be NAS adapter. NAS adapter is directing to particular servers, depends on the request made to which file services they want to get it. So any of the devices are attached in the back end. Like you have USB storage device is there, USB printer is there. I mean, printer is not a device, but it is an output device
But this one is
basically.
a traditional one. Am I right?
Yeah,
Traditional.
I'm
Okay.
talking still traditional only.
Okay. Okay.
The
Yeah.
first slide I told you I am giving high level introduction about S3. Then later on I'm pulling back you to
Hmm.
traditional storage.
Okay. Okay. Fine.
No S3 is connected here.
Okay.
At
No, no, no.
we
Because the diagram, I just want to understand. That's why.
No, this is traditional only. Where
Traditional only.
SAN,
Yeah. Yes.
SAN
Yes.
where it comes, SAN is there
Yeah.
only.
Yeah. Yeah.
Traditional system only.
Yes.
See,
Yes.
all these concepts, what I am talking is about traditional system only, not S3.
Yeah. 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 Understood.
Okay.
Mm.
Now you have a storage rack. You have racks, right?
Yes.
And storage towers are there. Of course, you have big file servers,
Yep.
right? Then you have SATM EX drive is there. Big drives used to be there.
Yeah.
Then Jupyter EX drive is there. Zebra external enclosure is there. Externally, you can pull it out and you can take it to some other system. You can take restoration process also, right? Then if you see in example 2, with FTP clients also it is installed, they can access data from the USB drive enclosure. So let us say here these clients are accessing through internet and firewall is there. Through the router, the request is going to the switch. The switch is going to direct to NAS adapter. Then one of these will be connected. Let us say a remote access of the files. There used to be remote access systems, RAS concept used to be there. So from here through internet they can access it. But before internet, before 96 or 97, we used to have in this area instead of internet FTP processor used to be there. So we used to connect using the connect command, then that server is going to be connected. Then from there we are going to pull the files also with the different processor, right? Is it clear, Uday? This one? Uday?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay,
yes,
okay,
yes.
okay. Right. Now, how the evaluation was done? Network evaluation. Okay. It used to be there DAS storage, direct access attached storage. There used to be clients, there used to be Ethernet, LANs used to be there, storage areas used to be there, devices. Then there used to be servers also, there used to be storage devices. These storage devices are connected through the servers. If you take a typical Linux servers, big servers, mini computers like AX, IBM AX, AS400 systems, there used to be storage devices connected, storage server, storage units basically, they all are called it. So there we used to have tape drives, automatically tapes used to be there, we used to store the data. Then at the same time, there used to be a disk storage units, disks we used to put there under disk racks. One by one we used to fill the
We
disks.
have for net backup same concept. Net backup concept. This is.
Oh, okay. Net backup, you use it for regularly, right?
Yes. Yes. We regularly use.
So you fire the command in one server and it runs in the back end.
Yeah, we will be having a same like we configure a storage unit, and
Mm.
we can configure even local disk also, disk unit also we can configure. That will be
Mm.
having a separate policy, similar
Mm.
like DAS only. That is the net backup one.
Yes. But in the backup, this is the architecture. They have front end, you will have net backup software,
Yes. Yes. Front
right?
end. Yes.
It operates instead of firing the commands,
Yep.
Linux commands.
Yes.
Okay. Now this is highly cost. It incurs high cost and inflexible and expensive to scale. Can you tell the justifications why it is costly?
Because need to buy server storage, and again need to
Yes.
buy a separate switch, and then need
Yes.
to buy many computers as well, since there's a lot of clients will be there.
Right.
So the cost is more.
Right. Now, network attached storage, if you see NAS storage, it will have clients only, but it has got LAN servers and NAS storage devices attached to it through Ethernet switching mode. So, in the back end, it can have through servers connection also, but storage will happen in the NAS storage, network attached storage. This storage is attached to the network without having the server. Here we have a server concept in the traditional, very old methods. I can say maybe fourth generation servers, I think. right? Even third generation, we can say this kind of concept. This kind of concept will come for fourth generation kind of thing. So what are the characteristics here? Transmission optimized for file transactions, and storage traffic travels across the LAN. So if LAN is disconnected, yes, it is going to break the storage activity. So here also the same concept will come, because requests need to come from client to the Ethernet switch. Then from there it will go to the server. From server it will go to the storage. Have you observed, Rajesh, the differences of the communication delay between these two systems?
Yes, yes.
Hmm?
Yep.
Net backup is very slow, right?
Yes, net backup is very slow. Yeah.
Because of this architecture, right?
Yes.
And here it will be faster under NAS.
Yes.
Okay, now let us see another architecture. Storage area network, which is called SAN. It is made easy by bifurcating the different connections. So how it is, Ethernet switch is there, it is connected to the server, one server. From there FC switch is there. It will go to storage units only, here only.
Yeah.
So these things are connected. So with this, what happens? Transmission optimized for file transactions. That is one. Separate LAN and SAN are there. LAN is related with, you have operations with the systems, with the servers, but SAN is only for storage. So storage is directly connected through the network here. That's where it is fast, SAN network.
FC switch connected to.
FC switch, yes. So increased data availability, flexible and scalable. So scalable is, you add some more SAN devices, I mean secondary storage devices to that, or you can add some more servers, and those servers can be connected to the LAN, and those can be connected to secondary storage also. It is a distributed way. The load is distributed basically. Here if you see in this case, yes, the load is different. From server, request need to go to the NAS. Am I right?
Yes.
Rajesh?
Yes, sir.
Directly you can't interact with the NAS storage, because server need to give the communication. But here what happens, is directly the server, even in the middle it is there, it is very fast. Directly it is connected through the FC switch.
Yes.
Okay, communication is fast. Uday, is it clear these things?
Yes, so basically about SNAN I know, but sir, here I have one doubt. Like there are some client machines, right? They are connected to Ethernet switch, and via Ethernet switch they are connected to servers, right? And in servers are mapped with SAN, right? SAN storage unit. So the first server is there. They have used FC switch, which is connected to RAID and secondary storage. Okay, and in second server there is Ethernet switch. So SAN generally uses FC switch only, right?
There can be Ethernet switch also. Am I right, Rajesh?
No, mostly the SAN, right? Like storage, between storage and server, the communication always will be FC only, FC switch
Yes,
only.
FC switch they only
But the
use.
Ethernet switch for management purpose. So if you have a separate SVP, right? For that, they will be having one more switch called Ethernet switch. So
Right.
how we can, if you want to access the storage navigator, right? Via Ethernet switch only, you can access. So storage will have both FC switch and Ethernet switch.
Yes, correct.
No, you mean to say from these secondary storage units, connection need to be there in the back end.
Yes. That
Am I
means
right, Rajesh?
This is if we require, then we can have it on secondary storage also. If you want to scale up the machine, then we will be having a secondary storage like top up only.
Now one scenario, let us understand it. Now the client, yeah.
Sir, 1 second. Rajesh sir, see, the data transmission between server and storage will happen through FC switch only, right?
Yes.
Okay. And suppose there is a SAN admin. Okay. And SAN admin want to do some administrative tasks on storage. So he will connect via Ethernet switch, right?
Server, yeah. No. This is the communication between only the FC switch communication between the storage, and if that admin want to access, then it will come with the Ethernet switch only.
Yeah,
that will be a separate
That's
management. That will be called as management VLAN. Yeah.
right.
To access.
Basically, if you see here, LAN is there. Here,
Yep.
this LAN is connected to this one, and Ethernet is related with LAN operation only.
Yes.
LAN operation, they are managing the secondary storage and write all these things, right?
Yes. Here the
Right.
secondary storage is S3P actually. It's like
Hmm.
to access the storage and then do the configuration, right? That via Ethernet switch only we can able to configure.
Yeah, one line you can say configuring the secondary storage and write.
Ah.
Then another one is for operations purpose.
Yes.
I mean, both are not different. The scenarios in this diagram, it is shown as a operation-wise scenario,
Yes, yes. Because
right?
usually, right, from server to storage, usually we need to have a FC port. From the
Hmm.
FC port, we do the all the zoning configuration,
Hmm.
and then after we zoning configuration, we will create a host group in the storage navigator. So that time when we create a when we create a host group, that time we require Ethernet switch. So to access those things.
But these all are the well established in the backend, right? Now nobody is managing all these things, right?
No, backend also need to do that actually. So suppose if they want to do when we want to do the migration, right? That
Hmm.
time the backend work also needs to be done. We need to do FC cabling, and then we need to select the speed, which speed is required, because minimum for storage side 8 gig or 16 gig. But it support up to 16 gig. Depends upon the switch actually. We use a
Hmm.
brokered switch.
Hmm.
So for that it's required. So if you want like a brokered switch configuration, that also it goes to the configuration basis. Everything will goes with the Ethernet switch.
Right. Now, when you are moving to cloud, the people, they don't need to understand the in-depth
Yeah,
of
yes,
these
yes,
things.
yes, yes, yes,
They
yes.
need the files saved there only. Just they need to dump them in one particular drive to
Now
fully.
the working as a user actually, just
Yes,
pull and
yes. Because we're not working with the networking or this kind of setup, but just to understand the mechanism,
mm,
I thought of bringing this one because some people are there with sysadmin and other background for the courses, right? So they will understand the differences between these things. When they go to the live, yes, they will say the network guys or storage engineers will make them confusion. We have DAS one, NAS one, then SAN one. How are we going to pull them into storage? Cloud storage, they'll ask. Simple thing is they need to download them and give in a folder. Then from folder you can upload into S3 bucket. That's all.
mm.
So, sir, one question: NAS came first or SAN came first?
No, no, no. DAS came first.
Dash came first.
Yeah, Dash came first. When Dash came, I was not in IT only, but
Yeah, that was
but
25
when
years back, 30
yeah,
years back, 30,
right.
40, 40
Actually,
years back.
when we are studying during that time, right, like NIT, those if it's
Courses.
courses, right,
Mm,
institution they use like a dash only actually.
mm.
Right.
They won't go with the NAS also. I saw that. That's why.
No, these
Right.
all are related with minis and mainframes concepts. Then later on, when the topology is increased it, network topology, they came with NAS storage.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then
So
later
after
on, this,
so
yeah,
after Dash there was NAS, and after NAS there was SAN, right?
yes.
Okay.
Now, many 60 to 70% of the clients have got the SAN networks only. But as Rajesh said, some of the legacy clients, they are using still the tapes.
For
But
backup purpose only, because recently we have approached AWS Glacier, our
mm,
organization. They said the cost wise, because usually the organization will go for the costing only, right?
yes.
When they say which is cheap, they go with the. So still they wanted to maintain the tape actually. They want to maintain yearly, monthly, weekly tape. So they want to do like that.
But maintaining in Glacier also is possible, pushing them into Glacier because
Yeah.
Glacier in the Glacier they use only tapes. Many of them they use tapes and some of them they use into containers.
Yeah.
Right? Any questions, Uday? Clear, right?
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Mm.
Okay. Right. Let me move to the reason of giving this diagram is because you people will be asked to push them into S3 or Glacier. S3 has got the object life cycle and they need to divide the files into different slots. What is the immediate access, then after frequent access, infrequent access, such kind of categories are there. So you need to ask that requirement also from the IT people who are all owners of the files. Then cold storage, obviously, Glacier is there. Glacier has got different process. Yes, you need to ask them, you give the files in a particular drive, that's all, simple. Then from drive you can upload into S3. From S3 you can push into different segments of the storage unit. Right, now I don't need to discuss these things actually, just information purpose I have given the diagram, right? Now let us come back to the S3 now. So when you want to use the S3, what are the common use cases? Technology wise and storage wise also. So the common use cases for S3 storage include backup and archive for on-premises or cloud data. So let us say you have a data center. As Rajesh said, they have tape related storage files. Yes, those are the archiver files basically under cold storage. That cold storage files can be used for cloud data. I mean cloud storage. So then content and media storage and software storage and distribution. What is content? Basically content management systems are there. They use a lot of content, website content for knowledge purpose, maybe papers, blogs, such kind of things. Then media is nothing but like YouTube channel or Netflix or Prime Video, such kind of things. For streaming purpose, you can use it. Then software storage is our backups of the databases and backups of any kind of files related to the software architecture. And distribution is like you have files, you want to distribute through URLs for download purpose instead of sending through emails or something like that. Then another thing is big data analytics. We have seen one scenario, how the technology related scenario can be applied it using big data analytics, how S3 can be used it. Then static website hosting. Static website hosting is you publish particular objects and let others know that. Even you can publish for streaming purpose one video file also. Like you take a typical marriage videos, it will be going hours together. That kind of files can be used in S3 to stream easily through web browser with faster streaming like Netflix or Prime videos. Then cloud native mobile and internet applications hosting. Let us say you are using everybody is using mobiles. In the mobiles, everything is stored in their cloud, in that vendor cloud, mobile vendor cloud, right? Then that kind of features are implemented massively. Then internet application hosting is you host one particular single page to application. Yes, you can do that. Even you can store the backup of that application files in S3 where developers can access it. Then disaster recovery. Why disaster recovery has come here? Because you are storing the files as a separate unit. S3 is a separate unit, nowhere connected for our virtual machines. It is an external service from AWS. So you store the snapshots immediately into S3. It is safeguarded there. Even virtual machine is collapsed it in the network. Somebody did not put the auto scale kind of features or load balancers kind of features in their network, in the software architecture, then it collapses the virtual machine for load. Then what happens? You are supposed to save the data frequently into S3 buckets under snapshots concept. So what are the other use cases apart from these? To support these use cases and many more, S3 offers a range of storage classes designed for various generic use cases like general purpose, infrequent access, and archive. General purpose is regularly I am using the files. Yes, I can use that option. Infrequent access means maybe monthly once or twice only we will be calling that file. Yes. Then archival is nothing but periodically I am taking backups of my business data, weekly backups or monthly backups, something like that. Yes, that can be pushed into cold storage. Maybe I will keep as per my organization policy 3 years or 5 years or something. Then later on I'll scrap them. So to help manage data through its lifecycle, Amazon S3 offers configurable lifecycle policies. So by using lifecycle policies, you can have your data automatically migrate to the most appropriate storage class without modifying your application code. Let us say this is the concept we discussed it. with different life cycle, dividing the files, which file you are using frequently, which file you are going to put in cold storage. That segregation need to be done. Let us say one engagement they have given to you. Now I want to push all the files, whatever storage I have, into S3 and Glacier. You come up with a plan, they will say. Now what questions you are supposed to ask for that project? So how many files are there? What are the files you need access frequently? What are the files you will be accessing infrequently? What are the files you want to store completely in the cold storage? These segregations you need to do. How you are going to do? By analyzing their network files. Then by taking their inputs, you are supposed to come up with a plan. Then you need to plan for S3 and Glacier. Is it clear, Uday?
Yes, sir. One doubt, like in organization, when they use S3 storage for storing huge data, like in the form of files, so that time do they use any standard naming convention for objects?
It all depends on their IT governance rules and procedures, because a lot of organizations have got development standards. In that standards, they mention these kind of rules under IT governance.
Okay. Okay.
You know QA procedures, right, in every organization. So that is part and parcel of that.
Okay.
Okay, right. In order to control who has access to your data, Amazon S3 provides a rich set of permissions, access controls, and encryption. How it is? S3 has got read-only access. S3 has got full access also. Depends on the need basis. You can attach one IAM role with user ID, and that access can be given through the user ID for a particular user. That need to be planned. It. See, wherever you are storing the files, you need to plan these things in the design. I mean, designing the storage. So one is identifying the files and segregating them into different slots into these kind of things. The next one is permissions usage. Who are all the users? What kind of access we need to give? Only read-only permission or full access permission? Such kind of things. I think Rajesh, you have done this kind of set of permissions in IAM role by using the S3, right?
Yes, we
Read
done with
access
F3
and
full access and read only
read
access.
access. Yes. So that's the example I can tell you. Read access only you can use IAM role. Full access also you can use it. And if you want to combine with other policies also, for that user ID with EC2 or RDS, such kind of things can be combined it to use it as a common features for that particular user. So now let us see these things, these diagrams. AWS data pipeline is one of the data storage data activities pipeline service. It launches the data into EMR cluster. Then from there, it is connected to DynamoDB, then S3 also. S3 bucket might be having snapshot. From snapshot, EMR cluster is going to pull for DynamoDB table. So DynamoDB is a database table. Basically, it need to pull the updated data. So let us say data pipeline is sending to EMR cluster, then EMR cluster is distributing to S3. Then from S3, as a need basis, DynamoDB table will pull the data. So this is one scenario. Another scenario we'll see. Data pipeline can have reading the backups like snapshots and pushing into EMR. Then from there it writes to database tables also. There is also another possibility. Let us say EMR cluster can save the data under snapshots. Then it can read into that. In this scenario, if you see, it is writing to S3 bucket, but already it is written snapshots into bucket that it is going to pull into DynamoDB. So both ways, one is writing into bucket and another one is reading from the bucket. Reading from bucket, how it happens, when you follow these kind of things, you store particular snapshots on particular dates, then the DBS activities will come as a request. I need that particular business data. Then you will find in these categories of the S3. Then from that categories, you are going to pull into DynamoDB database tables to access by the users through application, right? Now, These are the high level use cases, but it varies from one project to another project. What is Glacier? I'm giving high level picture only, all these things, but later on there are detailed slides I'm going through. Glacier is another cloud storage service related to Amazon S3, but optimized for data archiving and long-term backup at extremely low cost. As Rajesh gave the scenario for his need or requirement, yes, backups, if they have archival storage, S3 can be used it. But S3, if you want to use it, what happens, how we are going to pull the files into Glacier? Initially, we need to create particular buckets for those files and segregate them, which should go what area. There are categories, we discussed it in the S3. Apart from that, Glacier also is there. Glacier comes under cold storage. So you are using it under redundancy reduced storage. Redundancy reduced storage is you are not doing very frequently. Sometimes you are doing maybe monthly once, quarterly twice, or something like that. Then you are pushing that into this cheaper location. Then from there you are pulling into Glacier. So Glacier has got a process. Then that takes the files from there. Once you fix that schedules or options here, one by one it will be loading into the Glacier area. But when you make a request for the file, cold storage files, it needs 4 to 6 hours time. That we are going to see those rules also in further. Amazon Glacier is suitable for cold data, which is the data that is rarely accessed and for which a retrieval time of 3 to 5 hours is acceptable. So that's the requirement we need to give in advance intimation to pull the file. Amazon Glacier can be used both as storage class of S3 and as an independent archival storage service also. So independently means you don't need to connect through S3 directly. We can upload into Glacier also, but there is a separate cost for that. There is separate interface need to be given by Amazon. That we need to understand the policies and procedures from this link. Timely they will be updating it. So what are the choices of the storage classes in S3? One is standard S3 and infrequent access, and Amazon Glacier is there. These are the common categories. And here your data will be active. At any time you can pull it through the VM virtual machine. Then infrequently you will be accessing it. So the cost is going to be reduced from this to this. And at the same time, if you see the difference here, it is even micro level cost is there for the GB. So Glacier is the cheapest one.
Okay.
Right? You got
is there any something like for Amazon the S3 one, right? Do we have the sizing actually? What is the maximum size for or it's a infinity?
We will see them. There is object rules in that it comes. In that it comes file size. Okay. So bucket size and file size we will be learning in that.
Okay.
There are rules actually.
Okay.
So what is S3 object? S3 object storage is something quite different, and S3 is cloud object storage. Instead of being closely associated with a server, S3 storage is independent of a server and it is accessed over the internet. So how it is done, how it is managed, we'll see. Instead of managing data as blocks or files using SCSI, CIFS or NFS protocols, data is managed as objects using an application program interface built on standard HTTP webs. Basically on the web browser it is built it. So in this what happens? So in reality how it works we will see here. Each bucket can hold an unlimited number of objects. It is easy to think of an S3 bucket. So let us say as a file or as the key file name you can use it. You can keep in mind Amazon S3 is not a traditional file system and differs in significant ways. So here what they are going to use in reality, the technical things they are not talking anywhere, how the S3 files or objects are stored it. They are creating these objects into a containers form. Containers are like they might be using LXC containers or Docker containers in the backend. So accessing the files will be faster if you are using in containers. If you are storing the files as a physical storage, you have seen in the traditional system how the files were stored. They were stored in the blocks, and if you want to access a particular file, it need to read all the blocks and pull the file for downloading purpose. But in container, it is not that way. Yes, it is very faster to pull that because it doesn't need to do a lot of operations as per the containers concept. The concepts are given in the video as I discussed earlier. So if you go through that video, you'll come to know how easy the container management, because it doesn't need OS related things also.
So it
Directly,
doesn't require something like the file system type JFS,
no,
ZFS,
container
something
won't
like.
require it. There is a concept for sharing methodology
Okay.
that is explained in the video.
So S3 usually it will be act as a something like a folder and directories only, right?
Yes.
Okay, don't have any structure also. Yeah.
No, structure you can make it if you want.
Okay, okay.
But obviously, it will have inbuilt virtual machines for particular things. What way they are managing, everything is managed by the enterprise architecture in the backend.
Okay. Because
Enterprise,
if I want to see in the Linux instance, right? Suppose if I want to see in one of the Linux instance, I can see only as a folder only. I don't have to see. I don't have to see as a like mount point or something like
nothing,
that.
nothing. There is no mount point for the front end user.
Okay.
It works like a serverless concept.
Okay. Okay.
No traditional business with that. Just you create your folder structure or for bucket structure, then you declare whatever permissions you want it, whatever you want to do, sharing or non-sharing, that you need to define it. That's all in the front end. That is all
So
nothing but software.
okay, if I want to copy like something like 200 GB or 300 GB of tar file or some files, if I want to copy, I just directly I can use this one like
Yes,
S3 bucket. I
uploading.
can uploading in data.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Right. So how it operates, operation works here. If you see in S3, you get an object or put an object operating on the whole object at once instead of incrementally updating portions of the object as you would with a file. Let us say in a traditional system, if you have 5 GB file or 2 GB file, sorry, terabyte file, you take it, 1 TB. How are you going to do? You are going to split them into different parts. Then part by part, you are uploading into storage unit. Am I right?
Yeah, traditional way I'll create one PV. From PV I'll create one more volume group VG. From that VG I'll create one more thing is another thing is LV. From LV I create a file system.
So
So
there is a lambda process. If it is 1 TB file, you need to follow all these 4 5
yes,
steps, right?
yes, yes.
So here it doesn't do that. What it does is you give the option for uploading of that file. There is a parallel splitting. Internally it does it everything. Then it uploads into that. When you download also it does the same mechanism, and one file you can see in a single file.
Okay, but these files can access if you want to list those files only. I have to use AWS S3 LS only. I can't use simply ls-lrt. It won't show at all. Am I right?
What files? What files?
Like if it is in bucket, right? If the files are in bucket, if I want to list those files, I have to use the S3 command only. I cannot use the traditional
Yeah,
way command.
obviously S3 is a service. Service
So this
wise CLI commands are there, right? In
oh
Amazon.
yeah.
In AWS, CLI is made through the services only. Each service
Okay.
will have its own CLI.
Okay. Okay.
CLI commands basically.
Okay. Even though if I have a Linux instance also, I can't do like that.
Yes, because S3 is a separate service. It is nowhere
Services.
connected with the basic services of AWS, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It is in a separate network outside
Yes.
AWS.
Sir, one query,
Yeah,
like you can mount, right? You can mount S3 bucket on Linux server also
S3 bucket. You
as
can
a mount
download the
point.
bucket.
Like we
No, no,
That
create
cannot. They mentioned right. You cannot mount a bucket or open object, right? Like that only they mentioned, right?
No. I want a clarity from Uday. Mounting bucket is you download the bucket, and that you want to do, you can mount it and create as EFS for sharing purpose. Or
no. Sir, I was just after you told me in the morning, so I was going through some articles. That time I saw how to mount S3 bucket on your EC2 instance.
Mm.
Okay, so
Mm.
there was clear procedure, and
Mm.
also that is one of the tasks normally system admin do. Now, I don't know in what scenario they use it, but then they use it because I confirmed it with one of my friends who is working in AWS. But then, what is the requirement of mounting S3 bucket on EC2 instance? I don't understand
Oh,
because there
one
is,
question.
yeah,
One question. What is the meaning for mount in Linux?
mounting means accessing it,
Ah,
accessing S3 bucket directly.
yeah, there is a sound disturbance.
Sorry,
Okay. You say mount is accessing.
right.
Now we have done exercise for mounting the EFS in one of the EC2s. Are you aware of that?
Uh,
In the past 1 month back.
Yeah.
EFS, correct.
EFS, yes.
EFS was created as a file system.
Yes,
In that
yes.
you stored the files, you mounted. Mounted is nothing but you are connecting to that particular EFS network drive in Linux network, and this particular VM is mapped to that for accessing the files from that location.
Yeah. So, sir,
Yeah, hold on. I have not
sorry,
completed.
sorry.
Now, mounting you said in S3 also it comes the same concept, right?
Right,
So if you want to mount the files into EC2, what you are supposed to have, you are supposed to have the access to that S3 bucket. Am I right?
right.
How are you going to get the S3 bucket access?
So, sir, so for that purpose, we can use either role.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
So IAM role, I think IAM role is used
Hmm.
between EC2 and S3 bucket. That is one way.
Hmm.
Or you can directly create one user who will have permissions of S3, and then you can access the EC2, and then via AWS CLI you can access by providing that username and password, I guess, or key.
Right. Now let Rajesh give this. He has done extensively
Right.
exercise.
So my one second, sir. So
Yeah.
my question was like NFS. Okay. So
Hmm.
when we created EFS and when we mounted it on EC2, so what was the purpose? The first purpose was I want to store files, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And then if I want to modify that file, then I don't have to download it, then again re-upload it. So that was the purpose. So easy management of the files. That's why we use EFS. Correct, sir? So
Right.
like that, so now the scenario is instead of EFS, I have lot of files in S3 and I want to make some editing in
Hmm.
those files directly.
Hmm.
So in that case, suppose I am not mounting it on EC2 instance. So in that case, what will happen? I have to download one file.
Okay.
Okay, then I have to edit it and then I have to upload it because even AWS CLI will not give me any functionality to directly edit the file.
Hold on there.
Yes,
Rajesh,
yes.
Yeah.
you got his questions?
Yeah, somewhat is when
No,
he's
no, no, no,
talking
no, no.
about
What is no,
EFS.
no, no? Hold on, Rajesh. You remember in CLI,
Mhm.
you used the S3 sync command.
Yes, we are used.
Can you explain what its purpose?
Okay, I just need to recall this.
No. I'll remind you, like recollect for you. What we have done, we have created IAM roles for S3 full access and added that full access into EC2 user ID. Then in the EC2 user EC2, we used the CLI. Through CLI, we connected to S3. Then that same files we downloaded it. Then later on we used the sync command with CLI. Then there, if you
Yes,
update,
I got it. We downloaded some files from the internet. And the same files, what we have done is we created like IAM user like S3 full access and S3 read only access. So through CLI, we can sync from local data to instance. We can sync via S3.
now
Yeah.
his doubt is, Uday's doubt is, if we are editing files in the local directory, local folder, where it is synced to the S3 object. Okay, will it be updated immediately?
Locally, if you're editing the file, then we have to run again the sync file. Then only it will be updated.
Yes,
Otherwise, it
yes,
won't be updated.
yes, that is required. So
So,
this is
sir,
the, yeah. Hold on.
sorry,
Uday,
sir, sorry, sorry.
I'll ask
Sorry.
you to start it.
Yeah.
Now, what are the overall process you have done using the CLI in the backend? One is existing buckets content you downloaded into EC2
Yes.
using the CLI, right?
Yes.
Then later on, what you have done it, you have used the synchronization command to sync with the online that URL, right?
Yes.
Bucket URL,
Bucket
right?
URL. We have done. Yeah.
Then later on, what you have done it, you have uploaded different versions to the online
Yes.
bucket. Then same thing, you synced it in the folder, it is synchronized it. Then at the same time, if you change these files, let us say one test file is there, you want to change it, you can add one line and save it. Then you use the sync, it should be updated there also, right?
Yes, sir.
Vice versa.
Yes.
Right, both ways it should update, right? It has updated, I think. You only thing is you are not used the test file in the local mission.
Yeah, we use the image file instead of
Image
that.
files.
Yes, exactly.
Right. So now, Uday, what are the doubts you have about
Okay.
mount?
So, sir, so I mean, just I am just recapping it as we are discussing this thing. So I am just recalling the things like so when so uh, our operation is basically copy operation first. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
So in copy operation, what we do, suppose when we are talking about S3, so there are three options. What
Hmm.
that we are copying files from one S3 bucket to another S3 bucket. That is one scenario.
Hmm.
Second scenario is we are copying file from S3 bucket to my local system.
Hmm.
That is second scenario.
Hmm.
Third scenario is we are copying file from local system to S3 bucket.
Hmm.
These are the only three things. Okay.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
generally we do. So for these three things, we use either AWS Sync or AWS CP command.
First
Okay.
scenario, let me clarify. First scenario, you want to copy the bucket into another bucket.
Yes.
You
I
don't
mean
need.
data of bucket, right?
Yeah, let us say bucket one is there in one region, another region you want to create the same copy.
Right.
Am I right?
Yes.
That is called as cross-region replications. You don't need to copy it, just you give the access to another region.
Right. No, my
Hmm.
question was not that
Hmm.
actually.
No.
My
That
question
is
was,
clear, right? That
uh,
solution is clear, right?
yes.
You are going to do the labs on that, Sierra, in
Yeah.
this course, okay?
So my question was very simple. Ki suppose data or file is there in S3 bucket.
Hmm.
Okay. And I want to directly modify it through S3 bucket only. I don't want that file on my local system. So how I am going to do that? So one option we saw like EFS, if file is there in EFS and if we mount EFS file system on my EC2, so I will just go in mount point, I will do VI and that file name and I can modify it. Okay. Like that, if we want to do it in S3, then again we need to mount that S3 bucket on our EC2.
You need to
Why?
see. No. See, EFS is entirely different because
Yes. I'm
that is
just giving
similar. No,
example.
yes. That is similar to NFS. So
Right.
you can edit the file is similar to NFS only. So
Yes.
you can edit the file. You can copy the file from one instance to another instance. You can do that. But here, right, when it comes to S3, that's what I asked the same doubt actually. Previously also I asked, right, whether we can mount the data or we can edit it. So we cannot do it with the, we have to use only the S3 command to sync or to copy and remove and everything we have to use with the S3 only.
Right.
Yes.
Why I was asking this question because there was an interview and in the interview they gave scenario. So
Okay.
what was scenario? Like you have S3 bucket and in that S3 bucket you have lakhs of files.
Hmm.
Okay. And now you want to transfer those files from one region to another region or one bucket to another bucket.
Hmm.
Okay. So what is the best cost saving approach you can do?
Hmm.
Okay, so as usual, I said I will do AWS S3 sync and the source bucket and the destination bucket that I will do. Okay, so what he said, do you know if your bucket and all files are using S3 standard storage? That time when you are transferring file from one bucket to another bucket, there is a charge. Okay, so and you are talking about lakhs files. So how much cost that will be? You have to consider this. So what he told me, so I asked him, so what solution? So I asked him, so what will be the your solution? So what he told me that I will mount that S3 bucket on my EC2. Okay, so and I will access that via mount point and I will do ls, so there will be lakhs of files I can see. So I have a task to copy that from one system to another system. So what I will do, I will create rar file. So I will tar that all files, I will create it all those objects as a one file and then I will move.
Okay, Rajesh, do you have a simple solution for this? Rajesh? Are you there? Rajesh? What happened? Only Uday is there, huh?
I think. Sorry, sir, I'm disturbing actually. Asking question, but then these questions is remaining in mind. They are
No.
recollecting it, and I'm
Hold
not able
on,
to
hold on. I
concentrate.
have the answers for that. I have the answers, which is, oh, he got disconnected. Yeah, 1 minute. Let me connect back. Hello. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Rajesh, are you there?
No,
There
I
is
see there.
no. He came to call. Then when he came back, I was accepting him. Then it got disconnected. Your call. Let me add. Yeah, Rajesh, you are
Yes,
joined.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
I joined.
You are there, Uday. Both of you are there.
Yes, I'm there.
Okay. Now, Rajesh, you could listen his scenario, right? His interview scenario completely, right?
No. In between, stuck.
Okay. Let me explain. If I am wrong, Uday, you please correct me. There is a S3 bucket. It has got lakhs of files.
Yeah.
Okay. Now they wanted to have backup of that into another bucket.
Okay.
Right? That is the simple high level question, right, Uday? Ask them.
Yes.
So they asked a simple high level question is, I have a bucket, I want to take backup of that bucket into another bucket.
Okay.
Is that the question, Uday?
Uh, no, the question was like what he asked me that in one region I have one bucket, and in that bucket I have lakhs and lakhs of files.
Hmm.
Okay, so like he said, million files are there. and now I want to transfer those files from one AZ to another AZ. Okay, in another bucket. So basically bucket.
Is
Another.
it transferring those files physically by removing the existing block or what?
No. That was not discussion actually happened with him. So he just said, I want to copy those files. That
Okay,
means
there is a
creating.
difference. Word difference. Copy and
Yeah,
transfer is different
yeah.
function.
Copy.
Copy.
So
Okay.
copy files from
Mm.
one bucket to another bucket. But then
Right.
there are. So he asked me. So what is the most cost optimized solution you can provide me?
Okay.
So that was fun. So what I said, so I gave him three options, but he denied three options, and that was logically right. Later on, I understood it. So first of all, I gave him option that I will do AWS sync. Okay, from AWS sync source bucket to destination bucket. So he said that is the wrong option. So later I said. I will do cross region replication, cross bucket replication. So he said, no, that is not possible because if the file are, if it will not work on existing files because files are already there. So
Oh
if
no
you
no.
add
What way
new
it is
files,
not going to work, CRR?
because so if that bucket already had files, right?
No no. This the source bucket has got files. That bucket we need to take backup. That's all.
Yeah, but when
Backup of the files into another bucket. That source files. Am I right?
right.
Right?
Yes, but the problem was that so in CRR, what he told me that your bucket already have files; those are old files, and when you create CRR rules, then it will be applicable for new files, not old files.
Yeah, you are right. Yes.
Okay, so
Updated.
so when you add new file in source bucket, then only it will get replicated, but it will not
Mm.
work on old. So
Old file.
for old, again you will do AWS sync. Okay, so but problem is that you have that option, you can do that, but then it will cost me a lot because there are million files, though file size is very low, but then file transferring from one bucket to another bucket, there is a cost. Okay, so I asked, then I got confused, and I asked him, oh, so what solution you can offer in this scenario? So what he told me, there is a very simple solution that I will mount S3 bucket on my EC2. I will launch one EC2. I will mount that S3 bucket on EC2 instance. Then I will create RAR file. That means I will create one tar file of all those files, and then I can move as a one file. Because as it is for storage, AWS is going to charge me. That is fine. But for transferring individual file, there is an individual cost. So I will not have that cost. So that way I will be saving money.
No, but
Okay.
again the solution is given by traditional method only, right? But in
Yeah.
AWS way, in a way of AWS, it's not there.
No, in way of AWS, there is
Yeah.
a copy objects between S3 buckets is there. You have to create the target bucket before doing a copy command, and in CLI you can do that. You need to use EC2 mission through the CLI. You can copy that from one bucket to another bucket, like source bucket to
Like
destination.
sync from one bucket to
No,
another bucket.
it is not sync. Actually, copy command is there
Okay.
in CLI. Okay, I'll forward that link also to you guys from source to target. Simple. It is very simple.
Okay. No, but files only can copy, right? Bucket level can copy files. And I seen that link actually. I could see only the copying a file just
Yeah.
like that, and then
With
go to the bucket only.
CP you can
Yeah,
copy single file,
single file. Yeah,
and with sync you can copy entire bucket
single
content.
entire bucket content. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
what.
once it is synced, you can make that into another bucket, right?
Yeah. But then there was the
No,
like.
no, no. Hold on.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you have EC2 mission, you have S3. S3 files are synchronized into the local folder. Local folder is VM folder. You can create another folder. All these files physically you can copy into another folder. If you want to save in S3, you can upload them. S3 to S3 copy is not possible. Single file can be copied it. Multiple files
Yes, correct.
is not there. Okay, but you can upload those files by using a upload command in the CLI itself. One by one, it will be uploaded faster comparatively with using the copy
Maybe,
paste.
yeah. Maybe I think file format also we can copy. That also very faster. We can
Yes.
segregate as a file format, and
Yes.
then we can do sync also. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Then another thing is you want to do in the CRR these things. Yes, there is that policy works only for the updated files in the
Yeah,
bucket,
right.
including versions. Okay, the old files, if you want a copy of that into another bucket in another region, you need to use EC2 in the middle, like a traditional method only, and then upload them into that particular region.
Right.
Okay, or you can do one thing, entire thing you can download into local host folder. Then from host folder you can copy that.
But then there will be charge, no, sir. The
No,
problem
charge
was
will be there,
charging
but
of
you see
individual copy.
here there are there are different ways if you want to save the data. S3 has got lakhs of files. You wanted to save the data. Saving
Yeah.
data is possible in the virtual machine by using the EBS value. You can create a separate data volume there, attach it, and in that you can save the files. And later on, you can take the snapshot. If you want to use it in different regions through the snapshot also, you can upload it.
Hmm.
That is another way. There are many ways what use in the networking or file saving or something. Then another thing is, if you want to save in S3 only another copy in another region, yes, you need to upload all these files into another bucket by creating a bucket in the region.
Right.
You can't make a complete one-to-one mapping of the folder in another region because bucket concept is different. Bucket, if you want to create, the name is unique across the AWS platform. Even if our friends are creating without knowing to us some unique file name, if you are trying to create the same file name, it will not accept it.
Right. And
Duplication
sir,
is not possible.
sir, suppose there is a company who doesn't have any standard process of
Hmm.
naming convention.
Hmm.
Okay, and they are new in AWS, and we are supposed to, we need to provide solution to them. So, is it advisable that we tell them that whenever you are uploading any data, to follow standard naming convention?
Yes,
Right.
obviously, because
Yeah.
each department can follow different naming convention, different section convention. Traditional system, how the physical files are stored in the office. You take
Correct.
office files, office management files, not the electronic files. These all are electronic files, right?
Right.
Office files, they'll have ID, file ID. Using that only, they are going to track it in which year that file was created, all these things, physical files. The same concept can be used here also, file system nomenclature.
And sir, one more question. Like AWS S3, S3 can be used as a database also, right?
No, not as a database. Database snapshot can be stored there.
Okay.
Backup of the database. It can be connected to the database. I showed you here, right, in the architecture diagram. One sample, right, in the previous slide.
You have not shared your screen, sir.
1 minute, 1 minute. Now a call got disconnected. Yes. Is it clear now, the screen?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Now, if you see, what is this going to be? Writing and reading in these scenarios, if you see, there are two scenarios I discussed with you. One reads from S3 and writes into DynamoDB table because it is creating the data by pulling the snapshot into DynamoDB. In between, EMR cluster is working for that to execute the task activity. Right? Then here, if you see, there is a backup snapshot. It is going to be taken through EMR cluster to the S3 bucket. S3 bucket is getting the snapshot of this DynamoDB table backup. See, all these activities are very well known to the DBA guys because these their regular bread and butter tasks.
Yeah.
Okay, but you need to go through architecture
Yeah.
diagrams. I have given the architecture diagrams with different roles concept also.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
Database reading,
So,
database.
sir,
Yeah. Yeah.
So actually, what happened? I mean, one fellow who was working on AWS, we were just discussing about S3. So he told me, "Do you know S3 can be used as a database?" So I said, "No, it is not possible. It is just a storage."
No,
So
no,
he
no. You
said,
need to ask them.
"You
Storage
can
means
use."
in view of snapshot or what content way.
No, he said like you have S3 bucket, and in S3 bucket there are a lot of files, and you can directly from there you can use that data as a database also. So he told me you need to find this solution. Just find it, and if you are not able to find, then I will tell you solution. I don't
See,
know. So I was got confused.
see,
S3 तो storage है, अभी इसमें
no,
database
no, no.
कैसे आया?
Did you see in the features of the S3 anywhere it is
Yeah,
mentioned you can use it
but
as a database?
so actually,
What day?
in if you go in AWS CLI in properties section, I think somewhere I saw that you can perform analytics on it.
No, you can
So I
perform
thought,
analytics by pulling the data stored in S3 bucket as snapshot.
right,
Okay, what is the function of the S3 in the beginning? We discussed it.
store data,
Uh, Store any kind of data.
any kind of data, correct?
Yeah, right? Any kind of
Right.
data. Any kind of data means if you want to work as a database DB area, what are the DBs here? You have a DynamoDB, Redshift, and MySQL, MS SQL should be there. If you want to work, if you want to use S3 as a database, database means there should be database server with MySQL or MS SQL or DynamoDB or Redshift or any kind of MongoDB or any kind of database.
Exactly, sir. I also
But
told him
S3
that
S3 has got that kind of features to work as
yeah.
a server, database server? No.
So no, so I said him it's the same thing that if you want to have S3 as a database, so there has to be database server. That database server
No, no,
will
no. Those
process.
guys, the guys who are all talking to you, they are not aware of the concepts. You read this sentence, highlighted
Okay,
sentence.
okay, okay. Right.
It is used as a data staging or to load the storage, data storage into S3 from database. That's where in the scenario I have given it here.
Right.
Because many people talk blindly without knowing the concepts. That is the gap in the cloud technology.
Oh, okay.
You see here, what are the scenarios? One is reading the data and writing to S3 bucket as snapshot. When you take the backup of the database, what happens? It writes each record separately into the file. Once it is written, all these things, it will zip into that and it will put as a particular file name.
Right.
The
So
same
I will do counter question him next time when I will have call that okay, explain me. I am not able to find the solution. Now you explain me how you use it.
rare here, this kind of scenarios, you remember, we are going to do this kind of activities in
Right,
RDS.
right, right.
We're using the S3, okay?
Yes.
But you don't bring all these, the guys who are all stupidity questions. You read the concepts and standards,
Right. No problem,
understand
sir.
those things,
Yes.
right? Because they simply put the questions without having understanding, right? Right. Now,
Sir, we can.
yeah, I think
Yes,
time is up for
so yeah.
this person. I think what we'll do, we'll stop here today. Any questions, Rajesh?
No, sir. So far, no.
So far, no, right? We'll do all these things
Okay.
in the next sessions, okay?
Sure.
Right, Uday. Good night, yeah.
Sure.
Right, yeah.